Hey y'all, it's Kobe R. Rice and Happy New Year! Yay! Um, I am so sorry that this is late, and I'm actually recording this on Wednesday, January 2nd, but I probably won't actually get it up online until probably tomorrow. My equipment and my internet have just been psycho insane lately, and so unfortunately, that means I'm a little late, not only with my 2019 goals, but also with my 28 yearly wrap up of my creative achievements. So just bear with me. I'm so sorry that it's late. I know I'm usually late, but this is actually a good reason this time. Anyway, so I just wanted to come on and say Happy New Year and also to usher in this brand new year with a basically, I don't want to. I don't want to roll out all of the 142 goals that I have for this year because I do have that many. But I will be giving you guys a relatively short yet meaty summary of what I plan on doing for 2019. So, you guys know that 2018 was the bomb diggity. And because I like to look forward in these kinds of podcasts, I'm not going to talk about 2018. If you want to know more about 2018, the last thing I'll say about it is that please check out this past episode that is entitled Creative Achievements for 2018. Okay. But as you guys know, 2018 was on fleek. Got so much done in multiple areas of my life, not just with writing and publishing, but also with directing and dramaturgy and creative uni and also business building and business rebooting. So I'm excited to take all of those really wonderful achievements and milestones and bring them into 2019 and amp them up even more. So this year, as I said to you guys before, I have a lot of goals, and I'm going to be looking back and forth between the screen and my little notes here so that I can, keep track of all of my goals. But basically, this year, I have entitled it the year of the content creator, the year of the marketer, year of creative uni, and the year of health and body goals, right? And I'll get to why I titled the year each one of those four things. But basically, I have a lot that I need to get through, not only on this podcast, but for the whole of 2019. So let's get to it. Um, so, the first round of goals that I want to talk about are my productivity goals. I have been, for the past few years, really been trying to get down a daily writing regimen of at least 500, if not 1,000 words. And I haven't really been so great at it. So what I'm going to try to do actually for the first month is just get a daily writing regimen down of 300 words a day minimum and just call it a day. And even if it's actually 100 words a day, I'm going to try my best to be okay with that. But I just want to get into the habit of literally sitting down at the computer for 5, 10, 15 minutes and then, build up on those minutes. But just get down in front of the computer and write something. Either the next scene in the books of Ezekiel, an opening or closing or action scene in any one of my other franchises. Just make sure that I am getting down a daily writing regimen, because that really is the key to finishing a book. It's just coming to the table, coming to the computer, writing every day. So that's one of my main productivity goals. I want to ultimately hit at least 1,000, if not 2,000 words for fiction per day, as well as hit 500 nonfiction words per day for my blog and The Bohemian Badass. So wish me luck on that. Amongst the productivity goals, though, I do also want to make sure that I'm not killing myself over these writing goals. I want to make sure that I develop a sort of schedule that is completely within balance, rather in balance with the rest of my life, with being healthy and fit with being a mother, with being a good graduate student and teacher, and also, of course, with my other endeavors as a filmmaker, game designer, and lifelong learner. So I am trying to really compartmentalize my writing to maybe 1 to 3 hours a day max, so that I can go out into the world, experience life, live life, and do other things without really stressing myself out. So I'm starting out with this writing regimen so that I can work up to my ideal output per day. And if I am lucky, by the end of the year, I'll be on my Chris Fox 5,000 words an hour type stuff, which would be amazing. But let's start small. Okay, so because I am also an artist and a writer that's really focused on health and wellness and fitness, I have goals in that realm as well, including not only maintaining my current exercise regimen, but actually increasing it and upgrading and up leveling my exercise regimen. Because it's really important for me to not only stay in shape, but to keep improving in my endurance, in my fitness, in my health, etc. And so I have personal fitness goals, nutrition goals, and wellness goals that I'm trying to meet. I'm trying to get up to exercising at least 4 to 5 times a week, minimum 4. And I'm also trying to make sure that I continue along the path of having low calorie, high nutrient dense, not high protein, but like lean protein, high fiber diets that are going to basically keep my body going and chugging, keep my brain turning. And of course, amongst all of those things, I want to get more sleep, right? So, and I mention this because I'm not because I'm trying to turn this into a fitness blog, but because I do genuinely believe that health, wellness, and fitness is what is going to allow us to engage in our art for a long time, especially us writers who spend a lot of time sitting down and being sedentary. You gotta get up and do something. Like what I have at my house, by the way, is literally a set of weights, a yoga mat, and a little mini treadmill that fits in the corner. It's pink and it's cute. It was only like $175, and that has really been a godsend to me. That combined with learning real facts about nutrition and about health, and combining that with getting more sleep has really improved my overall energy, my body fitness, my appearance, just everything. And so that's really important to me as an artist. Okay, next. Emotional and spiritual health goals. Again, this is not something that you guys have to participate in as artists, but for me, it's really important to connect with a force or power or entity outside of myself, outside of this mortal vessel that we call the human body. Just really taking a moment to reconnect with the larger forces around me. And for you, if you're not really all that spiritual, which is fine, you can just take an opportunity to connect more with like nature, or more with like other people, or more with just like what it feels like to be this one person in this larger world. There are other ways to transcend self that have nothing to do with a larger universal spiritual being. And so it's just nice to really reevaluate oneself in the context of larger things. And I think that's also really important as artists and writers who are trying to be citizens of not only this world, but of the other worlds that we are creating. I sort of wonder, how does one truly become a citizen of a world that doesn't exist when it's so hard to be a citizen of the world as it is? So re-examining your position as a human being in that larger context, to me, is the point of pursuing spiritual enlightenment and awakening. But it doesn't have to mean that you are praying to a god. It doesn't have to mean that you believe in anything outside of statistical fact and anomaly. It doesn't require that. It's just nice to, again, relocate oneself in a larger context. I think that's really important, just generally. But for me personally, I'm taking that a step further in terms of looking at counting my blessings, engaging in active, positive self-talk, which I do, but I do need to do more of. deepening my spiritual practice through a series of studying through just spirituality in general. I'm thinking about getting more involved and studying more of chakra and energy on that level. And that's really going to be an interesting journey for me and an edifying one, considering that I write a lot of urban fantasy and I also write a lot of concepts that are very tightly intertwined with religion, some of which are complementary and some of which are sort of combative with religion. So it's just nice to engage more in the actual practice and study of it so that I actually know what I'm talking about when it comes to my novels, right? But that's a goal that I definitely have as an artist. Let's move down. Let's talk about the actual creative goals, because all those other goals I talked about are, more personal. And I skipped over a couple of these. My financial health goals, self-love, glow-up goals, hobby goals, relationship goals when it comes to my family, when it comes to my friends, when it comes to, romance, all these things. I have goals, but they're not directly related to being an artist, and also some of them are like very personal. So, you have to like maintain some kind of boundary, right, between yourself and the outside world. But I will share with you quickly some financial goals. I think I mentioned many podcasts ago that I believe artists should really start becoming more actively engaged in building wealth and building their nest eggs, and also protecting their intellectual property and their estates as artists. Okay, you do have estates, no matter how rich you are, how poor you are. If you have possessions, if you have intellectual property, if you have yourself, your brain, anything that you have to contribute to the world that can be passed on to other people, that is considered to be your estate. So in terms of understanding how to manage that, how to build that, how to strengthen that, and how to pass that on to your to your heirs or to your progenies, I think is really important. And so some of my financial health goals for this year is just to keep building on those concepts. Dr. Boyce Watkins, whose financial education I really enjoy, taught me a lot about the 5 pillars of financial health and of basically economic emancipation. So those being entrepreneurship, stocks and investments, real estate, credit, and asset protection. And I also put savings in there as well as number 6, but savings is just for like a fallback plan. It's not a wealth development plan, really, because it's very hard to like get comfortable and wealthy, so to speak, off of your savings. You have to have interest and compound interest working for you, but savings is still important, right? So those 5/5.5 pillars of financial health are something I continue to develop throughout my career as an artist and just throughout my life as a person. I am looking into real estate, crossing my fingers this year, and investing in that. Definitely have been very active in investing for mutual funds and stocks, although the stock market crashed recently. Didn't hit me too hard, but it was still, an unfortunate situation. But looking into that, still doing a lot of studying and research on cryptocurrency. I'm not really sure what the verdict is for myself on that is yet, but I'm just going to keep doing research and keep being judicious with my choices. And also looking into building up Rebel Ragdoll and all its subsidiaries for my entrepreneurship, and then asset protection is going to be something I look into this year, which I've already sort of engaged in a lot of that, but you can never have enough protection, insurance, wills, and estates, right? And so this is something that I think every person should be invested in for 2019, but artists especially. You don't have to be some major mogul in order to have an estate and protect your estate so that it's passed on to your heirs, to your progenies, to your offspring. It doesn't matter how important or unimportant, quote unquote, you are. It's always good to engage in self-preservation and self-development. right? So that's what I'm trying to aim for this 2019 with regard to my financial goals as an artist. And now we're going to get into my creative goals. So creative uni this year, as I mentioned to you guys before, is the year of not only health and body goals, but also creative uni goals. And the things that I want to focus on this year actually deal specifically with TV writing, once again. What else? Entrepreneurship, that's building up the Bohemian Badass by finishing out the Publisher Thing super course by byregina.com. I'm looking into developing more productivity skills, obviously. Also looking to focus on growing my knowledge and my expertise in business marketing. That includes, and especially includes, social media marketing. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Amazon ads, and Facebook ads, etc., etc. And I know I'm missing one other social media outlet, but you guys know what I mean, right? So this is really the year that I'm going to focus on really going hard on my marketing knowledge and my marketing implementation, which is why I also labeled this year of the marketer. I want to upgrade and up level in every sense of the word for all of my active brands. And so that's going to be, I would say, the grand majority of my education focus this year, although it's not going to be all of it. A lot of what I'm going to be doing as well, aside from all the sort of nitpicky technical nuts and bolts stuff, is going to deal with book marketing, some more financial classes, again, because I want to invest in real estate, looking more into real estate investing at the Black Real Estate School. Excellent school. Going through Tiffany the Budgetnista's Live Richer challenges, again, sticking to my financial health goals. But then, of course, getting into actual creativity. TV writing, as I mentioned, I'm going to be looking into that, trying to finish out some courses underneath that sort of tagline, headline. Also going to be doing some screenwriting courses, finishing up Aaron Sorkin Teaches Screenwriting Masterclass, as well as a whole bunch of different classes that I bought from Screenwriting U, which I have to take and then implement. I'm also going to be trying to go through the entire creative writing track at masterclass.com. So that includes Dan Brown teaches writing thrillers class, R.L. Stein teaches writing for young audiences class, Margaret Atwood's class on creative writing, Judy Bloom's class on writing, and then some other classes around organization and planning in Scrivener 3. I'm using Scrivener 3 right now, and it's amazing, and it's a lot like Scrivener 2, but there are a lot of new doodads and, all these doohickeys or whatever, and I just need some guidance as, some quick turnaround guidance as to how to use all these things quickly, because these new features are amazing and make things a lot easier, but some of them I have to sort of figure out. So definitely going to be doing that. Going to go hard as usual on learning more about directing. Werner Herzog's class is waiting for me at masterclass.com, so I'm really excited about that. Jodie Foster is going to have a class this year on filmmaking, and I'm excited to learn about filmmaking from yet another female director. That's really great. And then I really want to try my best to get through all of the courses at hollywoodcamerawork.com. So there are 3 particular courses on there, actually 4, but 3 that deal specifically with directing. They're literally called Directing Actors, Master Course in High-End Blocking and Staging, which is an amazing, excellent course. I'm actually about halfway through it already, but definitely take that course. It's amazing. And then there is Hot Moves, The Science of Awesome, which is about getting shots that are way more cinematic on a really, 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 really cheap budget. So making like a cheap budget movie look very high end and high budget by using drone shots and all kinds of shots like that. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that this year, if possible. I also, and now we're getting into like the wish list portion of my creative uni goals. I also want to get into more film editing. like hardcore, just hit all the film editing courses that I've invested in and work through them step by step, project by project. And that also includes learning more about color grading and lighting and changing those things in the actual DaVinci Resolve program, Premiere Pro program, Avid, and After Effects. And speaking of After Effects, I also want to really learn, or dip my toe in at least, the visual effects aspect of movie making. And that includes a lot of tutorials and lessons and just working with After Effects. It also includes going and taking that fourth and final class at Hollywood Camera Work, which is called Visual Effects for Directors. I am so excited for it. It looks amazing. It teaches VFX for directing, again, at a very reasonable price for lower budget films. And so I'm just really excited to get into that. And then I think I'll be able to do this as well for Creative Uni, but I want to start to dip my toe back into game design and programming. As you guys know, really the last major foray I took into game design was throughout the entire year of 2015, where I got a major education in game design and programming. I programmed 2 mini games of my own. I also wrote over 100 plus pages. Over 100 plus. It's either over 100 or 100 plus, but I wrote 100 plus pages of video game missions, scripts, dialogue, narrative design, and it was just amazing. And I also got into designing games on interactive platforms like Twine and things like that. So it was a really wonderful year for me. I learned a lot about video game writing. That was the same year I also took that course in video game writing, which unfortunately is no longer available on Udemy, which I find really unfortunate because it was an amazing course and still is. But I'm glad that I found it when I did. And being that I do still want to open and develop games at Chick Rogue Studios, which is another subsidiary of Rebel Ragdoll, it's time for me to sort of pick that back up. I'm coming back to the end of my but I'm getting to the end of my my time in my MFA. I have a little bit more time this semester. I have more time for next year, thankfully, as I take a year to like really build all my businesses and work on my writing and my films. And I really want to start that process of developing games, or my first game rather, for Chick Rogue Studios. And in that vein, I have already, as I told you guys last year, downloaded and applied the Unity and the Unreal game design engines and software, so I can work with that plus some other software to really start creating some cool games. So we'll see what happens with Creative Uni this year. Okay, next round of goals. Again, this is just like a general overview, guys. Graduate school, pretty much just finishing out strong. You know, I have one more class left that I have to do. I have my master's report, which is really actually annoying me right now, but I'm going to finish it. It's going to get done. I have my master's thesis, which I'm actually really chomping at the bit to get done. So hopefully I'll get the master's report done this week for graduate school, and then I'll be able to focus on my thesis until March 11th, where it's due. So we'll see what happens there. But that's what my hope and my prayers are right now. And I have also one more course to teach, maybe 2, depending on how they divide up my time. And that's pretty much that. Most of my goals for graduate school are emotional, right? Because you guys know, you've been able to pretty much watch my journey throughout graduate school since November 2016, which was, you know, about 3 months after I started here. And it's been a ride. It's been a ride, I'm not going to lie. And so because of that ride, I have come to certain conclusions about the place where graduate school actually belongs in my life, and the places wherein I'm going to allow graduate school to define certain things, and the instances where I'm going to push graduate school away. And so my emotional goals for graduate school are pretty much the same goals that I had last semester, which are use every aspect of graduate school to build my business, my creative business, and push forward my creative career as an artist, not as an academic. That's just where I am right now. Another goal is to stay focused on what I am here for, even if everyone else is just kind of going with the flow and doing whatever they have to do to sort of go along to get along, however they say that. I still want to stay in charge of my own destiny. That doesn't mean being difficult or giving pushback at every turn, but I have really mastered the art of the no this year. Like in 2018, Kobe was on her, no, I don't have time. No, thank you so much. No, I'm not interested in that. No, no, no. And my mental health, particularly after April 2018, my mental health benefited gangbusters from saying no to things that are not in alignment with who I am and what I do. So I'm continuing that. It's great. It's going to be great until I graduate, and then I'm out of here doing what I want to do. Take care of myself first, then take care of graduate school. And then my other goal is to take advantage of the freer time that I have this semester to really start transitioning into running my creative business full time. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay. Research, world building, and shadow development. So I am still working on developing multiple properties in the shadows, under the table. And the reason why I'm shadow developing these properties is because I have a lot of publishing deadlines for the first half of the year. I mean, they are literally insane. I have to write and polish and publish 2 novellas. I have to polish and then publish The Lock-In, which I finished writing a couple of weeks ago in 2018. I want to publish that before January is over. So that's already 3 projects in the first 4 months. And I also have to finish co-writing, co-polishing, and co-publishing the co-written novel for the USA Today best-selling leaning box set that I'm participating in. So that's a lot of projects. And because I have a lot of actual writing to do with actual deadlines, everything else pretty much has to go on the back burner and just be in shadow development. So that includes the Asylum series. So working on the story Bible for that, the story Bible and the world for the Never After world, which covers the Hitman of Happily Ever After series, the For Never Foul series, and the Godsman series. Of course, I'm going to keep working on the story Bible and the world for the Books of Ezekiel series. And as a matter of fact, in the second half of the year, that is going to be an integral part of my TV Bible for the Books of Ezekiel TV format, which is just called Ezekiel. Working on the Bible and the world for the Forgotten trilogy, the Sentient trilogy, and then the TV miniseries adaptation that I'm writing for my Roman history tetralogy written by William Shakespeare. You guys know that's a part of my master's thesis. And if you guys were paying attention to the past 2 podcasts, you might have heard me say that I have unofficially gotten approved to write a pilot and produce a TV Bible / dramaturgical casebook for Shakespeare's Roman history tetralogy: Coriolanus, Julius Caesar, Antony and Cleopatra, and Titus Andronicus. And that is my master's thesis. So I'm making my thesis work for me double time, wherein me working on this thesis will also ideally produce a really wonderful sample from my portfolio that will contain a TV pilot, a TV Bible, and a dramaturgical casebook. So I'm excited about that. So that, I guess that's sort of more active development than shadow development, but it is what it is. And then, of course, I'll be doing some more work and research on the story Bible and world for the Immortals TV series. So again, these are more sort of back burner properties and things that I have to work on while I'm working on the front burner things. But I always want to have different projects in different stages of development. And as long as I'm coming to my computer and my desk and sitting down and working on the active projects every single day, I don't have a problem with working on some other developing projects. Unfortunately, my schedule for this semester does not necessarily sort of intuitively allow for deep focus, but I'm still going to try to activate that as much as I possibly can. I think that might, emphasis on might, that might be the focus of my next podcast, because if I'm going to get through this semester, deep focus is really important. So I'm actually going to add that to my productivity resolutions here, my productivity goals. Develop deep focus. Hold on. Here we go. Develop even deeper focus to finish projects on time. Exclamation point. Okay, great. This is why I love podcasts. They really help me to think through things. Okay, so the Bohemian Badass. The primary goal for that is to get it up and running. Get it up and running. Blogging once a week, podcasting once a week, sending out probably two newsletters, 2 to 4 newsletters per month to my community. And then I have goals here to release 4 courses, but I'm actually going to just aim for 1 course, and that's the Plot Like a Badass course, which is pretty much almost done, almost there. And then I might try to release the Metaphor Maven course, which I've actually already done, but I just have to polish and make look nice. So yeah, like those are my main goals. It's a big goal. I mean, it might not seem like a big deal to blog once a week and podcast once a week and then send out weekly newsletters, but it actually takes a lot of time. So I'm going to try to make room for that every single day. Hence my productivity goal of writing at least 500 words of nonfiction per day. That's geared specifically toward the Bohemian Badass and its intellectual property. Then I have goals for Rebel Ragdoll and its subsidiaries. And this year, a lot of my subsidiaries are actually in shadow development because I'm focused so much on making content. As I told you guys before, this year is the year of the content creator and marketer. And so the logistical aspects of Rebel Ragdoll and its subsidiaries are pretty much going to be limited to growing the websites, growing the social media channels, developing the blogs, and then developing intellectual property for mainly Rebel Ragdoll Press, and then secondarily Rebel Ragdoll Productions. But those properties for Rebel Ragdoll Productions are going to focus on developing the TV series properties to the finished script milestone, as well as film properties to the finished script milestone. It is unlikely I'll be able to actually shoot any films or TV series this year, but I do want to have, 5 or 6 series ready to go and 3 or 4 film scripts ready to go. That's what I want to do. Impossible goals, but that's what I'm trying to do. As for my other subsidiaries, as I told you guys before, Chick Rogue Studios is still in development, but I'm going to start to dabble a little more in the development of our first game. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold, so excuse me ahead of time if I'm a little, sniffly. And that's pretty much the extent of Chick Rogue Studios for this year. It's just really just learning and building and developing little by little a new game. For the Dollhouse, which is like the haven for single moms who are creative, who are artists, I have actually started my single mom vlog. It is an anonymous vlog on YouTube dealing specifically with single mothers being awesome. And there are a bunch of reasons why I've decided to remain anonymous on that blog, which I'll go into in another podcast. I think we should start talking about representation and cultural protectiveness when it comes to being a content creator as a Black female specifically. Because as you guys may or may not know, I'm a Black female, and unfortunately YouTube universe is very fraught with a lot of violence and threatened violence against Black female YouTube creators, and especially when you're talking about single motherhood, which is a topic that gets a lot of anger, hate, and vitriol from not just our own community, but a lot of communities, because single motherhood is very demonized. You have a lot of online personalities who will specifically, unfortunately, target that channel, try to bring it down, who might try to dox me, who might try to dox my followers, or any subscribers that I might gain. And so it's important for me to protect my identity, unfortunately. So even though the Dollhouse has started its single mom vlog, and we have about 5 or 6 up already, which I'm really excited about, I will not be connecting that vlog directly to the Dollhouse brand until I feel socially safe and protected enough to do so. I'll talk more about that in another podcast, though. Yet and still, I say that to say that the vlog has started. I'm really excited, and I'm hoping to reach as many single moms as possible and give them inspiration and help, love, and real life actionable tips to help make their lives better as single mothers, and especially as single creative mothers. So I'm happy about that. That endeavor's already started, and it's going to grow, hopefully, throughout 2019. Let's see. A big goal that I have is marketing and community building. Now, I told you that this year was the year of the marketer, but I only talked about it with regard to studying marketing. I also want to make sure I'm implementing the things that I learn. So I have a lot of actual implementation goals with regard to how I'm going to be a really successful marketer, not only of books, but of other kinds of content, blog posts, vlogs, podcasts, radio vlogs, whatever you want to call it, tutorials, courses, just everything. And so I am looking into, again, building out the website and the blogs for a series of brands and my businesses at Rebel Ragdoll, building out the social media outlets for those same businesses and brands. And then I also want to focus on, again, tightening those author relationships. Every single year, my author relationships get better and better and better, and I'm looking forward to really knocking it out of the park this year, especially with my work and collaboration with other authors on the USA Today bestsellers. Endeavor, we're trying to make that list, so we're working really well together. I have a whole series of newsletter swaps that I am engaging in to develop really good relationships with other authors in my genre. And any other collaborations I'm going to be looking, to engage in order to create a tighter community. Having said that, New Adult Noir, which was really active in 2017 and wasn't really active after April 2018, I am trying to figure out how to rebrand and reposition that, especially because the data protection and the GDPR laws in place are changing the ways in which I have to do giveaways and things like that. So I still plan on doing giveaways eventually in the future, once I figure out an ethical way of managing them as well as managing people's data. I'm not going to throw my potential, readers and giveaway entrants under the bus because I want to grow my reader list. I'm not going to do that. Protecting data is important. It's significant, it's necessary, and I'm going to make sure I'm doing that before I reopen New Adult Noir and continue the activities I was continuing before. I do hope to be blogging there more, though, this year, because I have a whole reading list of dark and gritty sci-fi fantasy, horror, romance, etc. And I'm hoping that as I finish each of these books, I will turn them into blog posts that I will then add to KolbyRrice.com as well as NewAdultNoir.com. So I'm trying to continue the dark and gritty, noir and witty brand on that site, but just through a different way until I'm ready to reignite the giveaway portion and the author promotion portion. So that's what's happening with that with regard to growing my author network. I also plan on growing my off-world community. You guys may or may not know, but the entire sort of universe in which I write my novels is called Off-World. It does have different eras and ages and cataclysms that happen to incite certain ages and to basically end other ages. And the entire universe that Kobe R. Rice, me writes in, is essentially called Offworld. And so I've created an online community called the Offworld community. And all of my readers who are joining Offworld are essentially considered to be colonizers, right? Or colonists. Colonizer is actually kind of negative word, but like colonists, basically, who have discovered Offworld through a particular universe in Offworld, whether that's the Books of Ezekiel series or the Godsman series or the Asylum series. Whatever colony you come through is like where you are, like how you are originating and how you're basically acclimating to the Offworld community. It's going to be really fun and cool. And I'm thinking about actually probably at the end of this year moving off of Facebook to a more private community. Or maybe keeping both, but just focusing most of my efforts on the private community, because Facebook is sort of getting a little crazy, and I'm not really sure if I like what they're doing with their platform anymore, especially when it comes to data protection and privacy. But I do plan on being more active and being more present in the Offworld community. And there are 2 levels to the Offworld community. Actually, there's 3 levels. There's just regular readers who just enjoy my books and want to be a part of like that group. Then there are the sort of VIP Offworld High Council. These are the trusted readers to whom I always throw my ARC lists at, basically. And that's a very limited community. Not everybody's going to be accepted into that community, and you have to apply to be a part of it. And then there is the Offworld Dark Council, which are like the super, super fans. So I'm trying to develop those 3 different tiers of that community. And I haven't decided exactly what direction I'm going to go in this year yet, but I'm excited to really explore that. So that's how I'm rolling with my reader relationships. I'm really excited to grow and develop that, and also to develop and polish my Patreon community as well. So let's talk about the specific creative goals and like actual intellectual properties that I want to get done this year. Oh gosh, I'm telling you straight up and ahead of time that this list is pretty impossible, but I made it anyway, and I'm just gonna keep chugging along. Okay, so what I would love to get done under the novel category, I'm just laughing at myself even as I list all these things out. The currently untitled co-written novel for, again, the USA Today bestsellers box list endeavor. Then the lock-in for the Books of Ezekiel. That's the 3rd installment. I'm going to be publishing this month in January. Cross some fingers, but it should get done. I'm also hoping to publish the next 2 installments of the Books of Ezekiel series this year. Then I have 2 novellas that I have to write and publish this, not only this year, but for during the first half of the year. So I'm not going to tell you the titles of those quite yet. I'm working on those, and those are like mini surprises, but those are going to kick off yet another serialized novel series where each one of these novellas is going to be the pilot episode of a 5-season, 10 episode per season serialized novel series. Basically like a TV show, but like in novel form, right? So those 2 novellas will be coming out. One of them will be coming out in March and the other coming out in May. So that's that plan. I'm also hoping to get the first 2 books of The Hitman of Happily Ever After out. Now, this is at this point like stretch goals, but we'll see. The first 2 books of the Godsman series out, and then the first 3 books, yeah, right, of the Asylum series out. So that's my plan, or those are the projects that I really want to work on and focus on for the whole of 2019 with regard to the novels and novellas that I want to write. For screenwriting, I'm hoping that I can get the Sandman trilogy that I'm working on done in some sort of crappy rough draft form this year. Who knows? We'll see. I've planned all of these projects out into my month, each month of the year. So my schedule looks insane right now, but it is what it is. So that would include The Monster Between Us, which is the first feature film, Sandman, which is the second feature film, and then I'm not sure what the third feature film is going to be called, but it's going to be the final installment of the trilogy that brings everything together. Then for TV writing, I'm laughing at myself because this list is so insane, but I don't care. I'm just putting it out there and putting it into the universe. I'm hoping to have the TV workbook, Bible, and a pilot written for the following series: the Ezekiel series, the Immortal series, the Camille series, which, as you guys recall, is not only going to be a TV series, but also a serialized novel series, the Surrogate series, the Inherit the Earth series, and then the When in Rome TV miniseries, which, as you guys know, or you may not know actually, the When in Rome TV series that I'm developing for my TV writing goals is the same series I'm working on for my master's thesis for my MFA program. So you see how I work, right? I try to make every single project that's compulsory into a project that is going to widen and broaden my portfolio, fatten up my, my pages written, and also apply itself directly to my creative career as a screenwriter, TV writer, and filmmaker / director. That's how I hustle. That's how I get this game and this stuff done, if y'all are wondering. Depending on how my last graduate school class is going to go, I may or may not finish the full-length musical on Morian the Moor, the first and last Black Knight of the Arthurian Round Table. I want that to be something that I finish this year. It would be great to extend the 30-minute musical that I have into a full-length musical, but it really depends on what the requirements are for this last graduate class that I'm taking. Which is entitled History of Musical Theater. So if I can make it so that Morian the Musical can be a final project in this class that would count for my graduate credit in this class, then I will end up writing the musical, at least a really bad, rough draft of it. If not, then Morian the Musical may be shelved for 2020, wherein 2020 is probably going to be the year of the playwright and the year of the game designer. That's getting way far ahead, but just letting you guys know sort of where that stands. At the Bohemian Badass, I already went through this. I told you guys that I was going to really focus on developing the Plot Like a Badass course, but I would love to get into the Plot Like a Badass course suite, which includes a mini challenge, the actual big signature course, a master class, and a workbook. And actually, I'm almost pretty much done with the workbook. So that's definitely what I want to get done for the Bohemian Badass. I also would like to finish the Badass TV series development checklist, which is going to be a free opt-in that you will get free in exchange for your email address at thebohemianbadass.com. It's not available now, but it will be available very soon, probably by April 1st, the latest. And then I also want to finish the self-care journal for artists and entrepreneurs, which, as I mentioned to you guys, I think a couple podcasts ago, I finished the basic template, and it's the actual journal itself and the layout is gorgeous looking, but I finished the template for what a weekly goals page would look like, for what a monthly goals page would look like, for the title pages for each month, and for your self-care journal daily. So you get to record what you're doing to maintain your self-care every day, what you're doing to meet your writing goals, your world building goals, your outlining goals, and your idea goals every day. You have a page for recording what your health goals and what your health accomplishments are for the day in terms of health and fitness, the kinds of meals that you eat, the exercise that you've done, how much water you've drank for the day, etc. So those templates are done. It's just about making 365 copies of the daily templates, 52 copies of the weekly templates, and then 12 copies of like the monthly, title page dividers. So, and just organizing all that together. So as you guys can imagine, it is a really intense, amazing journal, and I should have it done by the end of the year. Super excited. New Adult Noir, there are not many goals there. I just actually want to create a nice quiz for my NA Noir readers just to figure out what it is they are interested in reading and what kinds of content they're interested in consuming, so I can tailor my content to them. And another goal that I'll actually add right now is to post book review blogs. I'm going to put post book review, book, film, and game review blogs throughout the year. Okay, I just added that to my goal list, y'all. So that's like now 144 goals that I have. Because I'm going to be reading more books this year, watching more films, playing more games. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. And for the ones that fit our brand, which is dark, gritty, noir, witty, I'm going to be writing up not tutorials. What am I even talking about? Writing up reviews and blogs and vlogs on the content that I've consumed that I really, really enjoy. And I'll be posting that at New Adult Noir. So that's just something I'm going to make a part of my book consumption process, my film and game consumption process. And I'm excited about that. And then for my MFA degree, which I will be getting in May of this year, so excited. I have to, again, do my master's report, the defense for that, the master's thesis, which is my TV series adaptation, again, of Shakespeare's Roman history tetralogy. I have to do that in 2 parts, submit it, and then defend it. And then I have to take my final class, teach 2 other classes, and then have my final portfolio review, which I believe is going to be basically a roundtable sort of mock job interview. So that's basically pretty much everything I have to get done this year content-wise, which is why I called this year the year of the content creator, because most of the stuff I'm working on include multiple novels and novellas, include 3 screenplays, include 6 or 7 TV series, Bibles, the development of those series, as well as the pilots. So I'm pretty much just producing content after content after content. The content also includes all of the blogs and vlogs that I'll be posting at thebohemianbadass.com as a part of that creative education sort of journey of mine. And includes, of course, these podcasts here, updating you guys on my journey as a Black female sci-fi writer, and also my podcast at thebohemianbadass.com, along with my vlogs and podcasts for my other brands that I'm slowly growing and developing. So those are a lot of goals, and wish me luck, guys. I mean, 2019, anything can happen. Hopefully those things that will happen will be mostly good things. And if there are not so great things, hopefully I will be flexible enough and strong enough to, maintain and and overcome those challenges. But happy 2019. I'm so excited. I hope that you guys are excited. I hope that you guys are doing your own thing and building up your own dreams and pursuing your own goals. One last thing. Let me grab this before I go. One last thing I'm going to try to do. I wasn't so good about it in 2018 because I was so busy, but you guys might remember my little gratitudes and blessings jar from 2017, which was filled to the brim at the end of that year. I'm going to do that again for 2019. And hopefully, I know it'll be filled to the brim for 2019. But I'm going to try my best to remember to keep this on my desk and at the forefront of my mind every single day, such that it's full. So at the end of 2019, I'm going to empty this jar, but I'm going to fill it. And at the end of 2019, I'm going to start off my yearly roundup with basically taking these out and reminding myself of what an amazing year I've had. And I hope you guys are here to join me and here to just be here with me, and we can keep going on this journey together. So I'm going to stop rambling and being all smousy and mushy and gushy. And I will just sign off by saying, again, Happy New Year. Good luck with your goals. I will be back next week, I promise, because all of my internet issues should be done and over by then. But in the meantime, keep it indie, stay badass, keep creating, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye. Happy New Year.